Wait. Oh, never mind. We're live. Just keep going. Just go.
All right, so after that smooth start, we're live with episode 67 of Just the Gi Top podcast. Today we have an excellent guest, Dominyka Obelenyte. So first of all, Dominyka, thank you very much for coming on today.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me.
As usual, our regular podcast members, we have Ahmed Sharani.
Hello, everyone.
We have Jordan Short live from the city of Chatham, Ontario. A fine hotel room there.
The lovely city of Chatham. Beautiful. Hello.
And myself, Adam Cousins. So, Dominyka, maybe we could just talk a little bit. You really don't need an introduction. I think anybody who does jiu-jitsu knows who you are. Black belt under Marcelo Garcia, double gold at Worlds this year. You've won Worlds at pretty much every belt.
Yeah, every belt except white.
Yeah, and I think you were, 14, the first Worlds that you won at adult?
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, so it's very impressive. I don't know what else to say about that. But, maybe you could just talk a little bit about how you started training jiu-jitsu.
Well, I first got into it because I started doing Japanese-style jiu-jitsu when I was around 9. Because I went to a school in Queens, and the kids could be bullies there, so my dad decided to just give me an edge and, allow me to learn how to defend myself. And then when we moved to New Jersey, we started looking for similar places, and we couldn't find any Japanese-style jiu-jitsu gyms, just some Taekwondo dojos, and I really wasn't for that at all. So then he found a BJJ school, and I really liked it, and then I just continued training the sport for the rest of my life.
So Dominyka.
Dominyka. Yeah.
How, if you don't mind me asking, because we're allowed to ask that in jiu-jitsu, how old are you now?
I am 19 years old.
You're 19 years old. Okay, so you've been training pretty much since you were 7?
Well, I started doing Japanese-style jiu-jitsu when I was 7, and then I started doing regular style, like Brazilian-style jiu-jitsu, when I was 9.
Okay. All right, sorry. And the other question I just want to know, and maybe I missed it, but when did you join with Marcelo exactly? What year?
The year, I'm always hit or miss on it. I think it was 2010. It was I believe it was before Worlds, before the first Worlds that I won. So yeah, 2010.
Okay. Sorry, Adam, you can go ahead. Sorry, I know we're still in introduction. Sorry, we're still in the introduction phase, and I just had some questions. Sorry about that. But can I just go over your accomplishments just for the people who might not know?
Why not?
Yeah, why not, right? Just really quick, because we already know world champion 2015, black belt, that's weight and absolute, and then 2014 and 2013 at brown belt. 2011 I'm reading off the website, by the way. 2011 absolute purple. 2010 blue, also a Pan American champion, 2015 at black, 2014 at brown, 2013 at purple, European Open 2015 at black, 2012 at purple, and then it goes on and on and on from there. So you don't really get any more accomplished than this from what I'm reading.
Yeah, I really don't.
Right? Exactly. And you're even a little No, you're not bragging about it, but you don't get better than the stats don't lie. We've had many guests on, and nobody has this resume really, not yet. So we've had a lot of people. I mean, we've had whatever. Anyway, so how do you stay? So what I'm saying is if I did what you were doing, I would be just talking so much shit on the internet, and I'd be like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, I would. But
Ahmed is very humble, as you can tell.
But how do you stay? But how do you stay so low key? Because even online, when I was researching some info on you, there isn't really much about you, about you talking, or except for, of course, the BJJ for equal pay thing, right? But you're pretty low. Is it just no nonsense, train all the time, or?
I mean, I guess so. I feel like a lot of people, they turn BJJ into this whole lifestyle thing. For me, it was always sort of a hobby, kind of something that I did on the side, because my main goal was go to school, get a job, live a normal life, and I always just had this on the side. And I don't really talk a lot, I guess, because I really don't like arrogant people, and I feel like people that are always talking about themselves, they can get really annoying really fast. So I try to like not do that as much as possible. I guess that's why. But otherwise, I guess I just kind of stayed out of the spotlight because I never went through the traditional trajectory that like a Brazilian world champion would have gone through. For example, like I didn't do a lot of seminars. I never like traveled around too much to do the seminars. I'd never advertised myself too much for privates or things like that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Just kind of that.
You should though.
Sorry about that.
But,
I mean, I should, but again, like, I don't think this is gonna be like 100% the only thing that I'm gonna do with my life. I still have other goals and ambitions, and I don't want this to be my primary source of income. So we'll see.
wow, that's a great question, because great statement.
yeah.
Sorry, because I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you about that. About
Oh God!
where.
Don't
yeah.
ask me what I want to do with my life.
No, not that. But like.
Yeah.
No, but about
asking
as
I
a
get
jiu-jitsu.
enough of
old
that
man
from my
questions.
parents. Yeah, I get enough of that from my parents.
No, but just no. You like. Go ahead, Adam. No,
I was just
you
gonna say,
know what I'm gonna say.
It's interesting for somebody who is as accomplished as you are in jiu-jitsu to say, you know, I it's not necessarily what I want to do as my primary source of income for the rest of my life. You know, you've
Yeah.
got blue belts who, you know, are training full time and maybe
Yeah.
not even doing that well, and they're like, that's all I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
Right? So it's, I mean, you know, we've talked about that a bunch of times on the podcast. Anybody who listens knows that, you know, we're certainly in favor of that mindset, you know, to have, you know, we love jiu-jitsu. Obviously, all of us love
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu, but, you know, we all have other jobs, and, you know, we kind of just, it supplements our life, I guess. So, you know,
Yeah.
without asking what you want to do with your life,
Thank
you know,
you.
are you still like thinking that, you know, are you in school right now, or?
Yeah, well, not right now because it's summer,
Well,
but
yeah,
I'll be back. I'll be back in school in fall. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just kind of continuing through with that at this point? You're just
Sorry.
going to kind of continue through with that and figure out what you want to do? Do you have any
Yeah.
ideas?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm majoring in sociology and art right now, so we'll see. I'm not entirely sure. I used to be a finance major, and then I don't know. I just I took a
So
microeconomics
from finance
class.
to art?
Yeah, I didn't like it. No. It went from something practical to something I'm more passionate about.
It's a very interesting transition from finance to sociology and art.
Yeah, it is.
Was it just not what you thought it was going to be, or?
No,
Sorry.
it was kind of something that I was trying to convince myself that I could learn to like, and something that I convinced myself I could learn to do for like 20 years of my life. But I had an internship, yeah, in the finance field, and I don't know, it never really stuck with me. And then I was actually looking to get another internship this year, and I noticed that a lot of the questions that they had you that were like practice questions for interviews were like, why do you want to do this job? And I really couldn't come up with an answer.
I have no idea.
It pays money, like that's why. So I was like, maybe this isn't the right path for me if I can't give like a good answer to that question, like the most important question you can ask.
Dominyka, so you mentioned that jiu-jitsu is kind of it's a hobby, right?
It's like well, right now it's like 70% of my life, but it's probably going to be 50% of my life by next year.
Okay, so can you tell us how often someone like you, like a world champion black belt, trains? Like, I'm just curious.
I'm sure it's different if you ask other people, but I trained this year. I did train every day, but usually like when I'm 100% like also in school, like focusing, I train like 4 times a week, and then I go to the gym a lot.
Okay, so leading up to Worlds every day then.
Yeah, well, leading up to Worlds, I was like going hardcore, training every day, and then also every day like doing strength and conditioning.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so can you take us through a typical training session?
Marcel.
Yeah, because I'd be curious. Like, well, we had Gianni Grippo on like probably a year and a half ago or so, and you know, I'd like to get your input on that, like how it looks.
Yeah.
What's the structure?
A training session is just like a 15-minute warm-up, and then maybe like 20-30 minutes of technique, just drilling technique, and then the rest of the time that whole class is an hour and a half, so maybe like 45 minutes to an hour of just straight rolling.
And that's it.
So yeah, that's it.
That sounds very straightforward. There's no hidden.
Yeah, I don't know. No hidden fees anywhere.
Oh, so how did you win worlds? No, I'm just joking.
I don't know. I mean, like, I guess when I was younger, I had a much more, well, not really intense training regimen, but I had like some parts were like focused. Like I would consistently drill passing. If like I sucked at a certain pass, I would consistently drill like certain sweeps. Then like I don't know. Yeah, when I was younger, I was like really on top of my game. I'd be like running almost every day and doing strength and conditioning, lifting weights and training. It was nuts. But I guess now I've learned what really works for me. I don't have to like look for other techniques too much, so I just keep on. I think the best thing that I can do right now is just roll and just figure out more transitions, figure out how to like fix up my game a little bit, and that's it, you know. I've never been like a huge fan of like drilling or things like that, so I don't know. It's just not for me. I like rolling.
You've been doing consistently well. Basically, you know, did you compete much before your first Worlds? Before
my first, yeah, I did. I did like occasional New York Opens, and I did Nogi Pan Ams, and I did Nogi Worlds once. But I did, even before that, when I was like 9 or 10, I started off with like Nagas and Grappler's Quest and like smaller tournaments like that. But I did compete a lot. Not every weekend, but like maybe twice a month, once a month at least.
Yeah. I asked because I mean you've been certainly since your Worlds win you've been placing consistently well. What do you think it is that sets you apart from the people that you're competing against? Like it's not just some people you see they'll win Worlds once and then and then they don't get back on the podium again. But I mean you've been very consistently on the podium at major national international tournaments. What do you think it is that's setting you apart?
Maybe it's just a fear of not wanting to break my lucky streak, I guess. But no, I don't know. I think it all comes together, like the amount of effort I put into keeping myself healthy and dieting well, and making sure that every little thing I can do to make myself like be the best when I go into Worlds is like done. It's like checked off the list. But I'm not sure. I think my game, I have like quite a difficult game to get around. Not a lot of people came into my guard this year, but I like to think that I have a pretty complicated guard. And then when I pass, like I just drive forward. So it's really hard for some people to like keep resisting that pressure. So a lot of times people crack. I guess that would be it. It's a hard question to answer. I mean, I never really thought of it, but I also just I put a lot of pressure on myself to just do really well, and I don't know. I don't like to lose, so I guess that could be another factor.
Can you explain Marcelo? How does he come into all this? Does he tweak your game? Does he watch you roll and go, "Hey, Dominyka, can you change this? Can you?"
Well, he doesn't. He does sometimes, but not always. It's more of like up to you to take away what you can from a training session, because that's what I do sometimes. Is I'll see like, oh, that person, he almost passed me today, or when I did this, he leg dragged me or something like that, and I'll see, okay, what can I do to fix this up, or what can I do to clean up my transitions, things like that. Marcelo does help, but it is like also your responsibility to do that.
Do you get much personal attention from Marcelo?
Yeah, I mean, he does, he singles you out to train with you, and then, like, after the roll, he'd be like, oh, like, you did this good, and you did this not so good, and, it helps, it does. But I wouldn't say that, he singles out specific people. Like, he doesn't show favoritism to certain people. I think he tries to help out everybody as much as he can, whether you're a blue belt or a black belt. And obviously, if you're competing, like, at Worlds the next weekend, then he's going to try and give you a little bit more attention and help, than somebody who isn't.
Can you tell us what doors, if any, have opened up since you won Black Belt Worlds? I know it's still not that long ago, But how has your life changed, if at all?
I don't know. I don't feel like it has changed at all. I mean, I get some people like message me and they say like, oh, like you're so cool. Like I watched like these matches and you know you did this so well and I'm such a big fan. I'm like, what? You're a fan of me? You're so weird. Like I'm not cool. Like why are you a fan of me? But otherwise, I don't know. Like not many things. I mean, people have been offering to do seminars with me a lot more. And I've gotten a lot more like interview opportunities and things like that. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like much has changed.
Isn't that? Sorry, I was gonna say, isn't that sad? Like, don't you think that's kind of sad though? Like, and it's not a reflection.
I didn't think it was sad until you said that.
No, it's not. It's not a reflection on you. I'm just saying on the sport in general. Like, isn't that just kind of sad? Like, you won. It's like winning the Super Bowl of jiu-jitsu, like twice. Right?
Yeah, you're right. It is kind of sad. Like you would expect, you know, like maybe more sponsors to come flooding in or something like that. But yeah. I have gotten a few tournaments that aren't IBJJF related have offered to like schedule super fights for me and things like that. So that's nice. And a few people did reach out to sponsor me, but I really wasn't interested in associating with them. The deals that they offered were kind of crappy.
Oh, can you tell us who they were?
No, I don't know.
Oh, come on! No. Why not?
No.
We'll just call them out.
I want people to name names. That's it. No. Ahmed gets a lot of the same, you know, kind of mail through the Just the Gi page. You know, people saying that he changed their life and that he inspires them, and right. Yeah.
No, but seriously, you're not going to mention anyone, right?
No, I'm not mentioning anyone. Nope.
All right, no, I'm just.
Names.
Can you give me a gist of it? I just kind of want to know, like, what is so absurd? Like, what's absurd? Like, is it like, oh, we'll give you some T-shirts? Like, can you like? You don't have to say the company.
It's like we'll give you gear. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
exactly.
No. Gear was what I was looking for when I was like a pro belt. I was like desperate for gear. Now I have more geese than I know what to do with. So you know. Give me some of that money. That's what I want.
So, you know, and that leads into a really good question, though. We don't obviously need to talk about names or anything, but, you know, since you've been on the major tournament circuit and competing, and from a sponsorship perspective, do you find that there are more companies now that are willing to do cash sponsorships, or like where do you see that is with the sport right now?
I think there are. I think a lot of, especially the emerging gi companies that we see, like Kings and KVRA, like all those guys, they're like especially, I think, willing to offer like money, like monthly allowances, things like that. But for those people that obviously deserve them, you know, like Gabby and like Andre Galal, like multiple-time world champions. But I think that is significant. That means that the sport is moving forward. It means that there are companies that are willing and able to provide like good athletes with a good amount of money, you know. So I think it's definitely headed in the right direction. But I also think that a lot of gi brands think that they're popular enough that they don't necessarily need to provide their sponsored athletes with money. So they just kind of, you know, use the attention that the athletes bring to them, and they say, oh, you know, like, because we are so famous, we don't really need to pay you. You can get like famous off of us as well. When it's kind of the other way around, you know.
So it's pretty crazy. Like it's pretty crazy the things that people in this sport are willing to accept from a sponsorship. Because like you said, like, you know, if you're sitting there and representing a brand and they're using you to promote their gear. Mm-hmm. And all you're getting in exchange is some free gis, like that. Like, okay, maybe you can go sell them on eBay. It's
and
just
some of them don't even let you do that. You sign the contract and it says like you can't sell the products that they give you. Like you can't sell them. Yeah.
Like who?
I'm not gonna say.
Okay, all right, fine, all right, whatever.
What about trading them? Or services or something.
Bartering. No, but
buy groceries with a gi.
But look, you know what? We've had enough people who've been sponsored by Shoei Roll, and now maybe you were talking about that, maybe not. But Shoei Roll, for example, I do know they pay you if you appear on the podium a certain amount. Mm-hmm. I do know they give you X amount of gis, but they do let you sell them. Maybe that's changed recently. I'm not sure. But that seems to be like as good as it gets right now. and it's kind of sad right now. I'm sure it will get better, but like Adam was saying, if anybody can get sponsored by Shoyoroll, they're like, wow, like Shoyoroll sponsoring me, I get a free gi a year. Like
exactly,
they're happy with that, right? But at your level, you're beyond that now. You're looking for that cash.
Oh yeah, I think I'm beyond that. I am looking for cash.
It's crazy. Like I said, what people are willing to accept. Like, you know, people I've seen they'll go for a sponsorship just to say that they're sponsored, right? Like the company might send you a patch that you put on your gi, and it's like, I'm sponsored. They send me a patch for my gi.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pathetic.
It's so dumb. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were having this conversation recently, you know, within a group of our friends, just about, you know, jiu-jitsu as a living and the fact that it's not there yet, and there's a lot of people that get upset that, you know, they're not getting paid more for super fights or you know, but I think that the sport is at a point where, I mean, those things are starting to happen. People are starting to get paid for those sorts of things. But I think that anybody that's coming into jiu-jitsu today expecting it to be, you know, a full-time living is kind of setting themselves up for disappointment.
I completely agree with that.
Yes, but with somebody like yourself who's as accomplished as you are, it's not a waste. Like I think so sorry, Adam, I know you didn't mean that, but I mean, like, certain people who are up and coming, and I see full-timers, like, I know them, and they're shit. Like, I do better than them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and, like, so, I'm just saying, like, and I'm sure you've seen it, too. Like, this kid he didn't finish his high school, and he's just full-time, and he can't even medal at Naga or something, right? Like, so those are those
not everybody's a Pan's gold medalist like you, okay?
No, well, Dominyka is. So,
that's true.
But
it's a private conversation now.
You guys can drop off now. Let the
only people with accomplishments are allowed to talk now.
But seriously though, like I know we're not going to solve the issue here, but I just don't get why like black belt world champions can't get more money in sponsorship, like an actual. Is it stipend? What's that? How do you pronounce that, Adam? Like
stipend? I think
stipend. Yeah. Right, or something, like just whatever it is, like $200 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I guess I don't know. I just can't. Never mind. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling now.
It's an interesting question for sure. It's also really hard to answer because I don't know. There are some brands that kind of sponsor. Like, for example, like Leticia Ribeiro, sponsored by Atama, and then like all of the Gracie Muay Thai girls suddenly became sponsored by Atama as well. And then I know Kaiko sponsored, I think, Gabby for a while, and then a bunch of Alliance people were also sponsored by Kaiko. So I think it also has to do with who you know and who can kind of push you through to these sponsors and, you know, let them know, hey, you know, this person's really good. I think you should sponsor them. You know, they're up and coming. They could give you a name. But, like, the way I got through was, like, consistently emailing my favorite key brand, being like, hey, like, this is what I did. I've won this and this and that, and I think you should sponsor me because I am really cool. And then, like, after the 50th email, they finally responded. They were like, okay, like, we're excited. We'll take you on. I was like, yes, thank God, finally.
Are you still with them?
Yeah, I'm still with them.
Who are they? Corel, okay. Yeah, usually we ask at the end of the podcast, you can give shout out. So okay.
Yeah, that one I can tell you.
Oh, okay.
I think you know it's tough in jiu-jitsu too because, you know, unlike everybody always tries to compare to other sports like, you know, hockey or basketball or and it's a ridiculous comparison because there's like, you know, you look at those sports and you look at how much money is poured into those sports from fans, basically people that don't even participate in the sport, and then you look at jiu-jitsu where essentially 100% of the revenue of all of the companies that are producing gear or doing anything related to jiu-jitsu comes from people who do jiu-jitsu, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, wow, that's a really good point. I never thought of that. You're right, because you have what they call like couch sport.
Couch potatoes?
Well, are you talking about like an armchair quarterback?
Armchair quarterback, yeah. You know the guy.
Couch potato.
Yeah, whatever. So he's really overweight.
Lots of those too.
So he's really overweight, but he buys the football jerseys. He's got a ball, all that, but he doesn't play football, right? Jiu-jitsu, nobody does that. Like
No.
I've told this story. Like, I brought my dad to one tournament to watch me, and he never came again. He's like, "What the hell is this?" Like, he didn't like it.
It's I've said this before. I'll say it again. Jiu-jitsu is a terrible spectator sport. It really is not like unless you do jiu-jitsu, you have
you're not
no
gonna
idea
find
what's
it
going on.
interesting. Yeah.
How do you attract like casual fans to jiu-jitsu?
I don't think you do,
It's really
honestly.
hard. Yeah, you probably don't. Maybe if it's like in the Olympics one day, people will like maybe casually just watch it if like swimming or gymnastics isn't on. But otherwise,
it's true. It's like it's definitely like not any less viewer friendly than say cricket. It's just that there's a huge percentage of the world's population that actually does cricket. But if you don't play cricket, you have no idea what's going on.
No, dude, cricket is a
exactly.
bad example. Cricket's that's one of the most popular sports in the world.
It is, but I'm saying from the perspective I'm saying from the perspective of someone who doesn't do it. Like I've sat down and watched cricket before, and like half an hour, and I still have literally no clue what's going on.
True.
It's like there's people running back and forth, and it's just. They're turning around, they're hitting the ball. I don't get it, but it's awesome, and good for them, I guess. I'm not sure where I'm going.
I mean, now that we're kind of spitballing here, like I think that if we had jiu-jitsu in like India or China, like a country that had like 1 billion people, and they're all interested in it or something, you know what I mean? Because right now it's kind of limited to like more North America, more the Pan Americans. Right?
But I mean, like Abu Dhabi is super interested in it. They're like, it's like part of the school curriculum there. It's part of the PE class. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
So they're like really pushing it forward. So that's nice to see. It'd be nice if like you said, a country like China or India could push it through like that.
Yeah.
You kind of get into, I find when I talk to people about, the whole making a living in jiu-jitsu thing, people always point to ADCC and be like, well, look at the money that they're giving out, but there's no way ADCC is making that money back. Like, they have to be losing money on those tournaments.
But that's $50,000. Isn't the grand prize $50,000, and that's every 2 years?
Yeah, I don't think they care about the money.
No. It's just for fun. They do it because they like it. Let's support it. It's the same with the. Yeah, I think it's the same with the Abu Dhabi pro people. Like, they give out pretty good prizes compared to anybody else. And I don't think they're getting anything back from it. I think it's just like the country really likes the sport, and they really want a way to honor it,
I don't know though. Like you watch those events when you stream them. There's nobody there.
Yeah, nobody's watching it. There's like
really? Maybe because it's like I don't know. But when I'm there, like they actually have a whole section reserved for people like Abu Dhabi residents, and like a whole little like VIP section for the sheik. So, like, everybody is just kind of crowded there, and everyone's chanting, like, UAE, UAE, I don't know. Maybe
it was in China. When was that one in China?
Oh, are you talking about ADCC or Abu Dhabi?
ADCC.
I was talking about Abu Dhabi for
ADCC is pretty dead. The one in China was pretty bad, actually.
Like, there were, like, 10 people there. Everybody that was there was complaining.
Oh, my God. Wow, that's sad.
And I think this year it's in Sao Paulo, no?
Yeah.
So should have a bigger.
Should be a lot better, I think.
But
it's got to be more exciting when like you got people in the stands watching who are excited about the matches that are happening.
Yeah.
So you know what? Now that we're kind of on the topic of money, can we go to your whole movement that you got going on?
Oh yeah, sure. Why not?
The BJJ for equal pay or equal pay for BJJ.
Equal pay for yeah, switched around. Yeah.
So. I read I read it, and so right now, are you as of now boycotting the pros, the BJ,
I wouldn't say like boycotting yet because I don't feel like boycotting the tournaments or like encouraging people to boycott them would really do much because I don't think we could get a big enough group to boycott them.
Okay.
But my primary goal, like I've said this before, is just to get in contact with somebody from the IBJJF so I can just talk to somebody or like have some like representative maybe like from Alliance or somebody bigger, a bigger name than me probably to go and just maybe discuss a way to reach a resolution, to just like, I don't know, somehow find a way to bring the prices like to a more equal range, because they're kind of ridiculous. It's like, come on, 25,000 versus $2,700 is like a really huge gap.
2,500, you mean?
25,000.
25,000? Sorry. Can you break down the pricing for me then?
Okay, yeah. So I believe, right this year, I think they have 4 divisions. Each division for black belts. Each division, the first place winner gets $4,000, and the second place winner gets $1,000.
Okay.
For the women, the winner of the absolute division gets $1,500.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I read that. Okay.
Yeah.
So an absolute only.
When I referenced the 25,000, I was referencing like the cumulative amounts of what men make and the cumulative amounts of what women make. Yeah.
I understand now. Okay. I get it. So yeah, again, I read that article and I know it said you were complaining and you told some people and you got people saying I'm sorry and whatever, and then some guys told you to just, I'm paraphrasing, but shut up and do something about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, like what? How could you say that to me? And then like I thought about it. I was like, wait, but he's right though. I should do something about it.
It needs like a slogan or something like, let's choke out inequality or something.
Or equal. Or I think she has one, Jordan. It's equal pay for BJJ.
Yeah, we're coming out with T-shirts.
No, we need something with more zip.
Something with more zip. Something more aggressive. So you've got, you started the petition. What kind of response, are you surprised by the response that you've gotten, either the positive or the negative? I'm sure you've gotten both. So, is there anything about the response that has surprised you?
Yeah, for sure. Negative and positive. Like the negative responses that I've received kind of surprised me because some of them came from people that I was kind of closer with and I wasn't expecting to feel that way. And then some of the positive responses came from people who I wasn't close with at all, just people that, even from my gym, that I rarely talk to, and they were really passionate about the subject. And I was saying this in a prior interview that there was one guy who I train with sometimes occasionally, but I don't see him around at the gym a lot. And I saw that some girl on Facebook had shared the petition, and she had a lot of comments on her little link. And so I looked through them, and there's like a vicious argument happening, and the guy was like replying to every single thing and like shutting people down. I was like, oh my gosh. So I messaged him. I was like, wow, I had no idea you felt this passionately about it. She's like, yeah. And he gave me this whole pep talk about how I should just continue doing this and I shouldn't stop doing this until I see some sort of change, and that he supports me wholeheartedly. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, thank you so much. I had no idea. So the negative responses, I've seen a few, and they do kind of hurt at first. You're like, because it feels like it's a personal attack. You're like, oh crap, like this person doesn't like me, I guess. But I've kind of gotten used to some of them. The positive responses definitely outweigh the negative ones, so I'm happy for that.
So can I, let me give a typical negative response then that might be on, might be there.
Yeah.
So maybe you've already heard this, but a lot of people say, well, there's not a lot of women who sign up for these tournaments, or So what do you say to that? So let's say but again, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I think well, for these tournaments, like, really aren't giving the women an incentive to go and sign up. I mean, it's kind of like if you see yourself as valued that much less of than as a man, then you think, oh wow, like I don't know if I really support this cause, or you feel kind of down. You're like, I don't know, like should I even be in this sport at all if like this is what my value is? And I think that for the men, the prizes, they're pretty lucrative. Like for $4,000, like you can afford to maybe take a $500 flight out and get a shot at the prize money, because there are people that are desperate enough for that money. But for the women, it's like it's one shot. You have one shot to win, and it's $1,500. And I don't think that's like a really great opportunity. If it was a super fight, yeah, it would be a good opportunity. But it's an absolute division, so I don't know. I think there's really not a lot of an incentive for the women to go sign up. So that's why we would see less women signing up for this. And also, again, like I've said this before, I was at the Pro last year, at the New York Pro, or this year, no, last year, okay. Yeah, and there were 2 people signed up in one of the men's divisions, and that is way less than
Yeah.
the amount of women signed up in the absolute division. So, and they got to, essentially get the $5,000
So
in
so
their
what
hands.
so what is it with jujitsu people then? I don't get it. Like we always hear people like, oh, I hate the points. I love sub only. There's a sub only tournament, no one signs up. Oh,
Yeah,
jujitsu doesn't have any money in it. Oh, well, here's a pro whatever. 3 people
yeah,
sign up.
yeah.
Whoa, why are they stupid? Well, what's the issue?
Why are they stupid?
Well,
That's
what
a
do
good
they want?
question.
Well, what do they
I
want? Like,
I'm not sure. Maybe that division was low in Keenan, so maybe people were like very scared. They were like, oh, low in Keenan sign up. I'm scared. Like I don't want to sign up. Like I'm probably gonna lose, so why even try, right?
It's a tough one. Like it's a tough nut to crack. Like Ahmed was saying, there's a tournament circuit here in the kind of Toronto area. They run shows in Montreal and now in Australia too, Grappling Industries. But they've announced they're doing free registration for women at the tournament. So the last
Oh,
few
really?
tournaments. But I mean, it seems like a great thing, and it's like okay, you get a
Yeah.
lot of women out to compete. But the problem is, then there's no perceived value. So people show up, or they just don't even show up for the tournament, or they don't stay for their division. So it's good in one way, but then it just kind of creates other problems too.
well,
Yeah.
doesn't it say it's like, oh, I'm a woman. I don't need you to pay for anything. Now you're paying for something. Like it works against you.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. But that is interesting. Like, I honestly don't know why anybody would just say, "Oh, my registration is paid for. I guess I'm not gonna show up." Then that is weird to me. I feel like if someone paid my registration, that would be like an extra incentive to go and compete.
You would think so.
Yeah, I would think so. Maybe these people are weird. I don't know.
Yeah, they are Canadians, so we're a
Canadians
weird
are all
bunch.
weird. I'm kidding.
But yeah, so back to the BJJ for equal pay. So you said you're trying to reach out to somebody from IBJJF.
Yeah,
Um,
I've tried, and it's really hard. I've tried to get in contact with them personally. Nope, no way. Then I've tried to reach out through refs. No responses there. And I've tried to reach out to the sponsors of the IBJJF, and not one of them has responded to. So it's really hard to get into contact with people here. And
So
I
what do
know
you
firsthand what that's like.
so what's your read on that? Like what do you think the reason is for them not responding? Are they embarrassed?
Oh,
Do they just not want to
I
deal with
don't.
it?
it's a
I don't
boys'
know if
club.
that's it. I don't know if that's it, but they rarely respond to anyone that has any extra question besides oh like when is this tournament happening? They rarely respond to anyone. So,
Like
but
do you think
yeah,
it's just
it could be hey, we don't want to deal with you. Go away. We're
yeah,
still
if
gonna
we
do
ignore you
this.
for long enough, maybe you'll
Yeah,
just stop.
exactly. Yeah, maybe
You
it'll.
should tell them that you emailed the same B company 16 times until you got a sponsorship.
Maybe I will. Be like, I'm persistent. I can do this forever. Yeah, too
Um,
bad they don't have a phone number. I'd be calling that like crazy. They probably have my number blocked though, so.
so maybe this is why you're not getting any sponsorships because because you're
But
right.
that happened before. That happened after I won.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like I said, okay, so you're trying to get in contact with people. It's not working out. There's a movement going on, sort of, if you want to call it that, on social media. I have
Yeah.
seen it. It's come to light. But you're right. There's some people who are negative about it, some who are positive.
Yeah.
Me personally, I was sort of negative about it. After speaking
Mhm.
with you, I've kind of changed a little bit. But
Oh,
for
nice.
me, I always use the argument, and it's been squashed before. But I always say if you look at any professional sport and just leave jiu-jitsu out of it, let's just look at anything like basketball
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
You have the guys in the NBA making 20 mil a year, and you have some women who are in the WNBA who are making 40,000 a
Yeah.
year, right?
Yeah.
There's more demand, more people want to watch
Yeah,
the male
exactly.
sports, right? But on the flip side of things, you got tennis, Wimbledon, and all that right now, where the women are very exciting to watch, and they make pretty close to what the men are making now. So I think it's based on an individual sport basis. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was originally kind of negative. I was, but
Yeah.
Tennis is
totally
probably
agree
a
with
better
what you're
comparison
saying.
than
Yeah.
basketball.
Yeah.
Tennis is probably a better comparison than basketball because in tennis it's not like in basketball it's completely separate. It might as well be a separate sport, right? Like it's a
Yeah.
completely separate organization, organized separately, whereas tennis it's all kind of grouped together in the same way that jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
is. So.
Yeah. But you're right about all those professional sports. Like they mostly get all their income from like the spectators, the fans, like the merchandise that they sell. So basically, the more people that support like the women, the more the women will make, and the more people that support and watch and are interested in the men, the more the men will make. But
Yeah.
I think that's like a really hard thing to pinpoint in this sport because I see an equal amount of people cheering for Mackenzie versus Nicolini and like Bernardo's final. So like that's a hard thing to pinpoint. And I don't think that the IBJJF essentially group their prizes according to what you just told me. I think it's more of like, hey, we can offer women less because I don't think there's going to be a stink about it. So we can kind of get away with that and then get like a larger draw from the men because we're offering such great prizes.
But
And I think the women will just kind of be okay with that.
do you think it's because though, like in a typical class, like in my school, I only have maybe 4 women out of 40 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think maybe it's because they know not as many women train as men do? Maybe that's changing now. I don't know. Maybe it's different in New York and stuff. I'm just talking.
It's like.
Is it 50-50?
Another weird thing, like there's definitely not 50-50 in my school. I know that there's sometimes, I feel like in maybe the Gracie Humayta gym, there's maybe even more women than there are men.
Oh, wow,
but
okay.
it's not 50-50 here. But I thought this was interesting. In the Worlds, I had 4 fights to get to my absolute, and Bernardo had 3. He would have had 4, but Alexander Chance came out. And people were always telling me, like, oh, there's not enough women in the divisions. And I was like, dude, like, we had the same amount of fights to win absolute, It's like the same thing. We both worked the same amount, to get to where we were. So I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting. I always thought that it was like 1 or 2 matches or something, but no, I didn't know that.
I can attest to that. Those matches were hard.
Oh, amazing. But
Yeah.
I have changed my stance. So Adam Jordan, I'm going public with this. I have changed my stance.
Oh,
You don't
how
expect
nice.
a
I
status
converted
as soon as it's
somebody.
done.
Yeah, this will. I think this is it. I think we can make it happen. We'll reach out to them.
Do it, please.
Yeah.
I
And
love it.
Just the Top has a lot of pull with the IBJJF.
I know you guys do.
It's I think the organization of jiu-jitsu is kind of weird. Like from the perspective of the IBJJF, kind of the main sanctioning body of jiu-jitsu, it just seems like
Yeah.
It seems like, back when jiu-jitsu was very small and it was like a group of people that were like, oh, we should probably like try to get this together, and like the sport has grown, but the IBJJF hasn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I don't know exactly why, but maybe it's because they're trying to delay the process of having to, I don't know, actually spend more money as much as possible. But I think the IBJJF is like, they're really important because they have the power to set precedents for basically all other tournament organizations that want to, come about and start hosting. So I think it's really important for them to try and like do something. Like they started paying athletes. That's great. That's a wonderful step. But you should try and like, offer everybody like good prizes, good prize opportunities. So like I'm really in favor of 5 grappling now because they're giving equal prizes to people, and they have like a really nice card lined up. So I think it's changing. I don't know if there are going to be tournaments that surpass the IBJJF in popularity, but I hope that the IBJJF can learn to like go with the flow and start to change for the better. Because I think if that doesn't happen soon, then there are going to be other tournaments that surpass them.
Have you gotten the invite to 5 at all?
Oh, for the no, not for the, what is it called, the 5 SL or something like that.
Yeah, the Super Fight pay-per-view.
No, I've gotten in touch with 5. They're interested in me, but not for that. I'm like way too big for that. All those girls are I think from Feather or feather to light, I think, something around that. They're all around lightweight, and I'm
Oh, I thought
heavyweight.
when you
So.
said you're way too big, you thought like you were too popular for that. Like I'm bigger than
No
5
way,
now.
no.
Yeah, that's
No, wow.
kind of what I thought you said. I'm like,
I sound
wow.
like a jerk if I said that.
No, well, you started off in the
Dan,
beginning.
if you're
like,
listening,
No, way too big. Like, way
Dominika's
too
too big
heavy.
for you now.
I'm way too heavy. I'm like three weight categories heavier than those girls, and I wasn't expecting one either. So.
You said that you had been contacted about some super fights. Do you have any coming up?
Not right now, actually, because I'm leaving for Europe next week, so I'm gonna be out for a month, and there's really no time to either prepare or actually go to any super fights. So not right now.
Is there anybody that you would like to face in the future? And be mean about it. Like, is there somebody who you just want to destroy?
Hey, I hate you. Like, let's go. No. There are a few people that I would like to go against, like Ana Cordero. She's really good, so I would like to go against her. I always wanted to go against Fernanda Mazelli, Talita Cheda, just a whole bunch of people. I don't want to like single. I always wanted to like go against Michelle Nicolini, but she's smaller than I am, so I don't know if that would be like a fair thing to do. Like, just call out Michelle Nicolini and say, "Hey, come fight me."
There's a lot of bad blood there.
There's no bad blood. She's actually one of like my favorite jiu-jitsu people.
No,
She
we
might be
need,
the
I'm just
nicest
a
person
huge
I've
fan.
ever met in my life.
in order to sell these
Yeah,
fights,
but okay, but can I just
orchestrate something?
can I talk about a really quick Michelle Nicolini?
Go ahead.
We almost had her on a podcast a bunch of times, but every time I want to have her on, I'm like, okay, July 5th, which is today, let's say. So Michelle, July 5th work for you? She's like, I'm not sure. Let me tell me on July 5th on the morning of, and I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Okay, is there any date you can confirm? She's like, oh, maybe July 12th. I'm like, okay, yeah, sounds good. So 8 o'clock, you're good? She's like, I don't know though. You can text me or something. It's like, give me an answer. Are you gonna be on or not?
She's busier than I am, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like.
Oh, come on.
It's those
I guess
Brazilians. They're on like
wasn't doing
Brazil
this, I
time.
guess, yeah. Brazil time.
I mean, what we
I'd
have.
probably be watching Netflix if I wasn't here. So.
we
We're
had,
being honest right now.
Are we like keeping you from like Orange is the New Black right now, or?
Oh
like...
wait, no! I already finished the entire season. No worries.
but the ending of that was a little like it kind of left a lot of things unanswered.
Oh, the running in the lake scene?
Yeah, like what's the
I
gimmick
don't know.
there?
It's like, oh, like look, we're all so happy, and then I don't know, something weird's gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah. And then anyway, do you guys watch that, Adam?
No, I don't.
No.
No, you've lost me.
How much do you like Pensatucky's character, though? I really like her in this season.
Wait, which one? Sorry.
Tiffany, the little hillbilly girl who had her teeth.
Oh yeah. It's funny
Yeah.
because she went from being like a killer, like shooting up an abortion clinic
to being like totally sweet and friendly with like people that she used to hate.
But I hope they kill Piper off though. She's like, if I can say this on air, like she's like a useless dyke on the show. Like
Are you serious?
If I can say it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Oh
Adam.
my God.
No,
That's so
Adam.
cruel.
Adam, but that's what they call
I don't
themselves
support that. I don't
in the
support
show.
that.
No, in the show, Adam, they say that.
I don't like.
Oh,
I don't like.
Okay, so
Anyway.
Yeah.
but that's what they call themselves in the show if you watch it. Okay.
So anyway.
She's useless. Mm-mm. I like Piper. I thought she was a lot more annoying in the first few seasons, but this season I like her. She's like taking control of her life. She's like, I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna do stuff. Yeah.
She sells used panties. Anyway, guys,
don't say.
Okay, guys, I don't want to. Yeah, we can change it, Adam.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we're coming up on the hour, so maybe. Well, I gotta go because I gotta watch this show because I don't understand any of these references.
You'll like it. You'll like it. It's weird. It's really weird.
But
okay.
just to bring it back there, we were talking about sponsors earlier. Are there any sponsors that you wanted to thank at all?
Right now, yeah, of course, totally. Jiu-jitsu, We're actually going to be releasing something pretty soon with me, so keep an eye open. Not going to say what, but keep an eye out. And Corral, my gi sponsor. Monica's New York Pizza. And for now, that's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, Dominyka, thank you so much for coming on. It's been really great. Sorry, Ahmed, do you have a question?
No, I'm just wondering if what I said on air if that's bad, and I just want to clarify in case anyone was upset. In the show, they call themselves that, and that's what I said that. So if
they do. I can attest to that.
If I offended anybody, watch the show and like whatever.
He probably had no malice intended behind it.
No,
So.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, thank you.
This is great.
It's a tough transition back to jiu-jitsu.
I love it.
But no, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for spending some time with us tonight. Congratulations on your accomplishments, and we're definitely pulling for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really.
Thanks. All right. Have a great night. That's a wrap for this episode of Just the Gi Top Podcast, and tune in next week. We'll have somebody else who's awesome too. All right. Bye.
Bye.